I'm Dan Panoshin, and you're listening to 11 O'Clock Comics.
You're just excited for the show.
I am. It's a big freaking week, yo.
It is. It's going to be huge.
Yeah, peoples.
Yep. Lots of food, lots of fun, lots of comics, all that stuff. And if I remember correctly, Jason said it's been 2 years since we've been there?
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
That is correct.
Yeah, because in solidarity we didn't go back.
Yes. AKA you just didn't feel like planning it. But yes, that's right, solidarity.
You can translate it any way you want. We did it for you. Jeez. And we do it for you because this is 11 O'Clock Comics, episode 932, The Prelude to Heroes. And I'm Vince B.
Ooh, you are Vince B. I am David A. Price.
This is true, and I am out under protest because I'm Joey Chestnut.
You're not Joey Chestnut. I like that name, though. It's fun. I like saying it. Joey Chestnut. You're not. You're Jason Wood, everybody together on this. It's kind of the eve of Heroes because behind
Heroes
the
Eve.
Well, no, I mean,
it's
By the time they hear it, yes.
Oh, right.
No, but it's the eve of Heroes for us because
True.
We'll all be together tomorrow, late-ish. So our Hero starts on a Wednesday.
And full disclosure, while we typically, before a con, record at Stately Wood Manor, we decided to alleviate some tension and give ourselves a bit of a break by recording the night before we go to Jason.
Yeah, the place is cursed. I can't get good audio out of that place for the life of me. It's always something, so we just said, you know what? Let's ditch it, and we'll record stuff at the con.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, Beth thought it was a wonderful idea. She was very, very happy to hear that we're just going to relax tomorrow night.
Good.
I love her.
Me too.
Relax.
Yes, and stop. And you know where you can get very inexpensive OGN's trade paperbacks, manga, and omnibus editions?
I damn sure do.
We all know, because the name is the savings. It's called cheapgraphicnovels.com. Cheapgraphicnovels.com. They have all that stuff. You flip a book over, you're perusing the book, like, oh, I like the art in this. It looks pretty cool. Flip it over and you look at the retail price and you're like, holy shit, comics are expensive. Not so at cheapgraphicnovels.com. Max and company laugh at retail prices. And you will too, because there's nothing for retail at cheapgraphicnovels.com. Everything's massively discounted. And remember this, first time shoppers, place an order very small. That's my tip for you. Very small, and you're going to get an email confirmation from said order, and you reply to that email confirmation saying, that guy's at 11 O'Clock Comics told me all about this place. And Max is going to say, wonderful, my friend, guess what? Shipping's on me for your next order. And that's when you just load up. You build a chair out of books with everything you've bought. Cheapgraphicnovels.com. Why you would want to sit on our beloved comics is beyond me, but hey, you do what you want to do.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I have to tell you that, we've known Max, the owner and proprietor of Cheap Graphic Novels. We've known him for a long time. And I am just getting such a kick out of seeing how excited he is on the socials lately with the band tour and being with his crew. Like, he just seems genuinely elated with life, which makes me very happy.
Yes. He sent me a link. Someone was making and selling resin fedoras. And he's like, check this out, yo. And I'm like, ooh, these are nice, but I can't fucking stand those clear ones and that glitter shit. He goes, those are the ones I like. I'm just like, oh well.
Kaiju.
Yeah, but we're same heart, different chambers. That's how I look at it. Yeah, I have no time for transparent vinyl or
yeah, you
resin.
don't like the pretty. You don't like the pretty.
It's not pretty. It's not at all. It makes the design very hard to see. I'm sorry. Yeah. But anyway, let's play What is the Dynamic Duo Drinking?
Oh, it's a dynamic duo now. Is
Well, and when it's two, you got to put a name to it, right?
it? Okay. So you're basically just. I get it. I see how it is. Okay. No, that's cool.
Your cousin Oliver.
Listen, this is vacation
We'll make
week.
up for it tomorrow night.
Yeah, no, he won't. No, he won't. Oh, yes, he will, because he'll have wine.
Yes.
Yes,
All right,
why not?
Jason, you can play. What is Triplicate Girl drinking?
Well, I'm actually having something new this evening because my son actually did me a solid. My 19-year-old son, Jackson. So he's home for the summer, and he, I guess, while he was away as a freshman, became addicted, as one might do, to Red Bull. Now I don't know how many of you do the shopping around your house. I think we all do. We all do some shopping, and so if you've ever looked, that Red Bull is like the most expensive non-alcoholic beverage you can buy. Like even at like a BJ's or a Sam's Club, a case of Red Bull is like $50. It's
That's
crazy.
nuts. Yeah,
So
no way.
Yeah, so I did him a solid. I bought a case, and and Beth was like, "You're a softie," and so he returned the favor because I told him how when I go to the few times I ever get out to Vegas, I like to drink Red Bull and vodka. That's sort of like my stay awake drink. So he brought me a 4-pack of Red Bull Zero, which is the 0-calorie sugar-free version, as a little thank you, which I thought was in his own way, was a very sweet gesture. So I'm having a Red Bull Zero.
Nice.
That's awesome.
A lot of love there.
Yep.
Well, in keeping with tradition, I'm drinking the Sam Adam, but this is called Post-Season IPA. It's a limited release, and it's called a Bright Sessionable IPA.
So it's meant to follow the spring.
I guess. I don't know.
I got you 2 new types. Well, they're new to me. 2 new IPAs for you to try.
Nice. Can't wait.
I decided to. We used the Bartesian this evening. Renee surprised me. She didn't go with her usual raspberry gimlet. She went with a Bee's Knees, which is a gin-based cocktail. And I am having a wonderful whiskey sour.
There you go.
Nice.
Nice. That's
With a
good.
big border cube for Vince.
Don't get too close to it.
No.
You'll get assimilated.
Vince, are you know who the Joey Chestnut is, right?
Yes.
Yes, because you love the hot dogs. You love the sausage.
Sausage.
Did you hear that he is out of the Nathan's July 4th contest this year?
Yes, I did hear that.
How crazy is that? So for those that don't know what we're talking about, there is an annual contest on the 4th of July at Coney Island in New York.
Salute to gluttony.
What's that?
A salute to gluttony.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Nathan's Franks does a contest. It's a hot dog eating contest. It's far and away the most famous of the thousands of eating contests that now exist. And Joey Chestnut is the 16-time champion of this thing. And I believe he's won 8 in a row. But he is out because Nathan's is not letting him compete because he has a sponsorship deal these days with Impossible Foods, which is the plant-based.
Whoa!
So
Yeah.
they view that as a
Crazy.
competitive. They view that as a competitive brand. I read the quote said something like, "Letting him compete would be like having a deal with Nike and letting him wear Adidas." And I was like, I don't think that's actually a
No, that's not close.
reasonable analogy, but you do you.
I just find the whole thing laughable. The eating contests are like everything that's wrong with America. They're not eating, number one. There's no enjoyment. They're just cramming meat
they're
into their gullets. And it's like, I don't know.
I can't watch it.
Well, what's funny too is
No.
he's not a heavy guy, and like you see all these people he competes with, and they're 300-400 pounds, big,
Right.
gigantic people, and then I forget the name of the Japanese guy that had won a few years in between his 2 streaks, and they both are super skinny.
Yeah.
Well, skinny-ish. I guess Joey Chestnut's not super skinny anymore because he's like getting up there in age. But yeah, I mean he's not obese in any way though.
Right.
And yet,
right.
yeah.
Well, we will be consuming food for enjoyment
Yes.
in Charlotte because we're going to Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait. My agenda is a flea next to Jason's pachyderm. I have very few plans for Heroes. The con proper. I mean, yes, enjoy myself with you guys and all our friends and talk to the creators and just have a good time on that level. But there are three things I'm really hot for at Heroes. And hopefully they'll be very easy to procure. I definitely want to get Jim Rugg's Conspiracy Comics.
Absolutely.
Yeah, same.
Because when he posted that Foundry type and the letterpress side cover that he's got going on, both covers are on the same book. I did not know that. Our buddy Dan T told me. I said, because I sent Jim a message, I said, Jim, please, for the love of God, make a cover with the type and not the actual letterpressed product of the type itself, because it's beautiful. It's like there's metal type and wood type. It's all lined up in the box. It's got the slugs in it and everything. It's awesome. And then Dan told me, my wish is coming true because both covers come with the issue. So it's great. I love it. So I need that. I have to get Mr. Sholey's Witch Man comic and Michel Fife's Copra book, the Creating Copra. I gotta have
Creating
that.
Copra. Okay.
Yes, gotta have that.
Nice.
And usually those three guys are roughly in the same area. So, or give or take, right? Maybe a row or two in between them. But I can't wait. I need those books. Other than that, I have no agenda. Whatever finds its way into my greedy little hands, I will assess each on an individual basis, right?
No doubt.
Because we've mailed stuff home before.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there's no limits at Heroes.
Yes. By the way, they all are. All three of those gentlemen are in Indie Island, they call it. So yes, they are all in the same section.
Excellent. Now, what do you guys have planned?
Well, so listen, addiction is a thing, right? It's a thing. You have your ups, you have your downs, and I
love the framing device going on here.
Yeah,
it's
listen,
wonderful.
because I'm being realistic. I fell off the wagon.
You did, but you always get on me for being flighty. I'm hot, I'm cold. You went from 0 to 3,000 miles an hour on this.
So I said I fell off the wagon. It's like someone that that's the thing with addiction. Like, you can be clean for 20 years and like Philip Seymour Hoffman, right? And then you do a bump.
I totally understand. Yep.
Yeah. So that's where we're at. So
let's put it into perspective. I sent the guys a list today. I went to the Heroes site and I saw the list of recent attendees. It's probably not a complete list, but it was a long enough list for me. So I went through the list and I cherry picked all of the people I would love to get an intro for, or just to talk to, maybe record a little bit. And it was about 40, 50 names on that list?
Sure.
Give or take, right?
Yes.
And Jason says, I'm going to make a lot of those happen because I'm getting art from about half those people on that list. I'm like, okay then. So we're good. That's a great greaser, a great lubricant when you're spending money with an artist and you're like, oh, by the way, can you think we can have a bumper? Then that works. But I'm a little scared because I want to get Jim Shooter. And I
That won't
don't.
be a problem.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Nah, it's fine.
I think we.
Dude,
I think
we've
we
stared
chat
down
them up.
Neil Adams. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't think Shooter is going to be a problem if we aim to make it a reality. I don't think it's a problem.
Before we end this thing, I want to make sure that we have audio samples of everybody in comics we've enjoyed. Like a nice database of all of these voices to introduce our episode. So when people go back into the archives and listen to it, they get a sampling of everyone who's ever made comics. New, indie, older. I just want them all. And Starlin's on that list. We don't have Jim. I'd love to get Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tom DeFalco. There's a lot of stuff. The old guard is going to be very much represented at Heroes, which is wonderful. Bob McLeod's there.
and-
We have him though, but I mean, I'm just
And
saying.
Heroes is a much easier, more convenient spot to get those than New York or
Yes.
or
Yep.
or any of the Reed Popeyes shows. I was going to say, but yeah, and that's go ahead.
No, I just how do you walk up to Al Milgrom and not just be tongue tied? Like we grew up with Al Milgrom,
Yes,
right? The guy has supplied us with many hours of enjoyment. You go up to them and you just shake their hand and you just say that. You just say, hey, thank you. Like, I don't want to make you seem old and, just excise that part. But I've been looking at your work since I've been a kid. And thank you for all that.
Milgram is probably he is one, if not that he'd remember it being decades ago and as many years as he's been in the industry anyway, but I'm not going to call it an icebreaker, but I sent him, or I addressed to him some of my samples from way back when I thought I could be an inker. So not that it's an icebreaker, but hey, you sent me a no thanks letter, but but he's definitely somebody I want to thank. I have a couple of pieces of art to pick up, but for the most part, I'll and providing I remember to pack it, I'll bring the unfinished jams I have. But I don't. My goal isn't art. It's to maybe fill any holes that I have, and anything that comes my way. It's especially inexpensive, but I just want to, looking at the list of names like Jurgens, like Friends, like Breeding, like there's so many dudes that the 70s, 80s, 90s that were working on books that turned me into a lifelong comic book fan that I definitely want to thank them, shake their hands. If we get bumpers, great. That's obviously a goal, but as long as I get to let them know what their work meant to me, then it'll be a successful weekend.
Can I carry your bags, Mr. Jurgens? Can I get you an elevator, Mr. Jurgens? How about some water, Mr.
Putting
Jurgens?
aside the art hustle, the people that I think I'm most excited to meet under that auspice are, even though he's been at the con before, since I don't generally like waiting in lines, I've never actually shaken Alan Davis's hand and thanked him.
Same.
And that's absurd because he's, up there, if not my favorite living artist in terms of like life, career, work. So I need to make sure we do that. I'm thrilled and elated because you guys know this has been a decade-long quest. I don't even know if I've told you guys this yet. I am on Brian Stelfreeze's list.
Yes.
So I'm very excited about that.
What do you get?
Awesome.
Getting a Zazie Beetz domino.
That's hot.
Yeah, so really excited for that. I have never met Mark Buckingham, so very excited to meet him and thank him because, Vince, you know how we both worship the Ground of Fables in particular, and and I don't remember him ever being at a con that we've been to before. Maybe it's happened, but it's the first time I remember him being at a show. Noah Van Sciver, I'm a pretty new convert to his work and have adored all of it. And as we may or may not have mentioned on the show, it turns out he's familiar with our podcast and has listened to it a bunch of times. So it should be nice to finally meet him under that premise, and hopefully maybe we can arrange to have him on the show.
Yep. You can tell him how much you enjoyed the Grateful Dead book he did.
Dude, if I could get John Snyder to do the Grendel piece, to do a Grendel to do a jam to do something on the Grendel jam, I would plot. I'm actually schlepping this big ass fucking Fragpendium book so I can see if Val and Simon can mark it up for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a schlep. Good for
you.
Yeah,
it is. It's fucking heavy as hell too.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of other than that. Those are the ones that stood out to me. But there, like you said, there are a bunch of others. I'm with you on it'd be cool to chat up Shooter. Oh, you know what? No, another one. You guys had the great fortune to interview Howard Chaykin.
Yeah, it is.
I wasn't able to be a part of that episode, and we haven't seen him since he did the podcast, so
Right.
that'd be cool. I'm
We'll
kind
hit
of
him
hoping. Well, I'm kind of hoping he has those. He usually has those little random drawings. I'd love to get. I've always wanted to get like a naughty sort of, just a panel or something from one of his naughtier books. That'd be fun. So that's something I can hope to accomplish.
As Kirby is my witness, if we get close to Pat Broderick.
Oh, dude! We will, because the first Heroes Jason and I went to, Jason got a piece from.
I was going to say, how does it feel to have crushed who
Michael Gold
on Micronauts?
Yes.
Not an easy act to follow, and you just destroyed him.
Yep.
He'd probably be very humble. Oh, no. And inside he's going, yes, I did. I totally wiped it on his face. Yep.
Absolutely.
But now there's a big list. Richard Case, right? Ron Lim. I don't think we've ever spoken to Ron Lim. I would love to.
No.
Yeah. Gene Ha. What'd you say?
I said that's true. I have met Gene Ha. He actually. Oh, I was. You know what?
He did the Windy City, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say I had a chance to chat, but that was well over a decade ago at this point.
Paul Pelletier, I bought that original page from him, but it'll be good to see him again.
I don't think he's been back to Heroes since we bought those pages.
No, well, actually, no. I bought that at the GalaxyCon in Raleigh when I met Clifford Justin that one year.
Oh, okay.
Rick Leonardi's always there. We can definitely say hi to him. That's easy enough.
Joseph Rubinstein. Come on.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I'm not. I don't. I said it sounded like I said who cares. No, I mean, meaning like he is at every con. I mean, we definitely
good.
But yes.
Yep. Pascal Ferry.
We chatted with him at Baltimore because that's where I bought his ink pages from.
I'll even talk to Terry Moore. I'm not proud.
See why you wouldn't?
Yeah.
I was going to say he's a wonderfully chatty fellow.
He is.
Yep. He's good. I like him. Yep.
Do you though?
Yes, I do. I think he's a very talented illustrator. I don't click with what he chooses to illustrate. The stories.
Some up and coming slappy named Scotty Young's going to be there.
Yeah.
About time. Slacker.
Laura Martin, right?
Well, every year one of my things is getting her to color my jam pieces, so she's going to be coloring my Serpent Society jam piece this year.
It'd be really cool if we can get an Amanda and Jimmy twofer.
It would
it would be. Yeah, it's probably doable. They're both chatty fellows.
I got an in. Hey, Jimmy, really, really stoked for this Gunslinger Spawn that you're doing for Todd. You want to talk a little bit about it? We're in.
What about Roy the Boy?
That's it for that one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
You put off by the handler? Is that what the deal is?
No, I mean, if I invite you to my house and you say you're going to come and you don't, and then you don't, it's a little weird.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
It's a little weird.
I still love him, but if you don't want to come, then don't come. Right? Don't
who's
come
going to
back.
be here? I can't profess to like caring too much on a personal level as a fan, but it's interesting that Ralph Macchio is going to be there.
I got him on my list. Yeah.
Yep.
For those listening, Ralph Macchio, the editor, not
the Karate Kid. Yeah. I want to try to get a picture with Garcia Lopez, but but Jason is your in for Jim Calafiore, Vince.
Oh, I know. That's why I put him on the list. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I mean,
especially
I got nothing against Jim.
I know.
Yeah.
Have we ever talked to Mark Schultz?
I have.
Yeah, Vince has at the shop, but no,
I have a couple times so far.
Oh, right, that's right. Well, then why don't we have? Yeah, I mean, if you already have an in with the shop, that's a.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Right.
Not only Mark Schultz, but William Stout. Like, shut up, William Stout and Mark Schultz at the same place. It's insane.
Do we have a
Charles?
Do we have a
Kevin
Nolan?
Weeks?
Yeah. It's old though. It's very old.
Yeah.
We should get a new one.
Our early ones. Yeah.
And he rambled a little bit.
Well, he did magic for us.
Yep. And he
What about June Brigman?
I would love to.
Yeah. Yeah, she's usually there.
Francesco
Yep.
Francavilla. Like, there's so many big names
He's
at
always
this place.
there.
Bart Sears, Steve Lealoha.
What about Steranko? Do we have anything from him?
Oh, no. I wish.
Well, he'll be there.
Hey, Mr. Miracle. Can we talk?
You can get something from your boy Jeremy Bastian
Yeah.
now that he's back doing comics.
That'd be great. There's just so many names. And I just scratched the surface. Like, I'm sure there's a much longer list than the one that I looked at, but I wasn't going to be greedy. Tom Neely. There's just so many people.
Yeah, I have in the spreadsheet. So I have it on the spreadsheet. There are on my spreadsheet. There are 668 different artists listed, creators.
See, if we don't come out of there with at least 100 conversations,
Oh my goodness!
or bumpers, no, we got to set a goal because Dap and I are going to get pulled into the back issue vortex,
Right.
and we will. But I don't think we should spend the majority of our time there.
Yep. Oh, what about Wendy Peeney?
Oh man, the original Red Sonja.
She'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Point being, it's a target-rich environment. To your point, there's really, and because of the nature of Heroes, with that many fascinatingly talented people tabling, there will be, with very few exceptions, easy accessibility. Like, there are a few people where it would be still probably hard to get them to do a bumper or chat with us for long because they'll just be full the whole time. But for the most part, and I think almost everyone we've already mentioned, I think it's very doable.
Yeah. Well, a bumper takes about 30 seconds. So.
Right, but as you know, you can't, unless we already know them, we can't just roll up and say, like, hey, can you do a bumper for our podcast? You have to introduce yourself, build a little rapport. For some of the older school people, explain what a bumper is, right? Like, I mean, my point is realistically, it's a 10 to 15 minute process minimum, right?
Right.
I mean,
and multiplied by 600, that's a lot of time. That's more time than the actual show.
Indeed. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
I think it'd be cool to get Mike Grell. Is
he going to be there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he did a good Green Arrow story. So why not?
He did a great Green
You're
Arrow
a
story.
tough cookie, man.
It really is.
Like, when you say that, but it's like widely viewed as the greatest Green Arrow story ever.
Okay.
No, I know
get it,
you
yeah.
don't feel that way, but
But, I mean, that's a very low bar, isn't it? It's the greatest Green Arrow story ever. Like,
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think there's been some good Green Arrows.
it's the best Green Arrow story where he wasn't a sidekick.
Yes, it's
That's fair.
Outside of a Justice League of America story. Yes, I because that was. I mean, again, it was also perfect timing because it was the 80s, so that was the grim and gritty era. So Mike was able to do things with the character that, no more boxing glove arrows. He wasn't necessarily a low rent, wish versions of Batman. He was actually, somebody, a legitimate threat, vigilante. And once that happened, things got silly towards the end of his run, and then you brought in Connor and then Kevin Smith and Greg Meltzer tried to do things with it. But I think, Grell, yes, he put his mark on Green Arrow, but of course he's also done so much more.
Warlord,
the Warlord did the Legion. He did
terrible
he
Legion
followed
costumes,
Neil
but,
on yes, he followed Neil on Green Lantern, Green Arrow. But you've got, of course, John Sable freelance, and he's very. What I like about Grell is that he works on projects that mean things to him. He's not just he's not just trying to chase a buck and here's my Spider-Man story. It's just he wants to tell stories that he wants to tell.
Right.
I'll have you know, not to sound like Dad, but I bought every issue of that Green Arrow series that Grell instigated. Every issue. So it's not like I have this vendetta against Mike Grell. I've enjoyed his stuff. But end of the day, we're talking Green Arrow. I
know.
It's funny, talking about this reminded me that I bought a gigantic run of Green Arrow comics, including Longbow Hunters, from Sean Whelan back in the day.
Wow.
Raging Bullets.
Why was Sean getting rid of DC books?
Dude, when we were first doing the show, and as you guys know, I was drinking from the DC fire hose at the time because I had read so little of the, quote unquote classic runs. For some reason, he was getting rid of a lot of his issues, so I bought through him a complete long box full of Green Arrow stuff, the complete Teen Titans run, and something else. But I bought 3 long boxes of comics from him that he was selling. I don't remember the context of why, but yeah.
Huh.
Yep.
Saying number one that you would buy single issues.
Well, this was
That's how long ago it
shows you
was.
how long we've been doing the show.
Right.
This was probably 15 years ago at this point. In fact, it was more than that because I bought them when we lived in our first house, and we've had this house for almost 16 years. So, yeah,
Time flies, does it not?
indeed.
Yeah. So, long story short, we are going to enjoy the hell out of Heroes. And you, I'm speaking directly to the patrons, will hear all about it because I plan to document all the good stuff, capture it, in other words, and you'll hear it in some form if you're a patron, whether it be on the Patreon feed or as a special bonus episode with nothing but heroes and everyone that we spoke to there, be it fans and or professionals. You'll hear it. Just if you want to get in on that, just check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/11 o'clock comics. And there's 2 tiers. $5 gets you a bonus episode, of which the Heroes long form episode may be. $10 gets you that and access to the Slack. So either way, you'll get the bonus episodes.
Hell yeah.
A little bit of business. Let's talk about comics.
Let's do it.
Yes. Well, somebody pick up the ball.
Well, let's see. I didn't read any big long runs this week like I did last week that I wanted to gush about, but I did, and I think Dap joined me at least 2 of these. I did finish up 3 series in the last week. I read Avengers Twilight number 6,
Yep.
Pine and Merrimack number 4 and 5. I hadn't read 4, and Once Upon a Time at the End of the Universe numbers 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, because as well you guys know, but for the listeners who may not remember, it was a 15 issue series, but broken up into 3 5-issue chunks. So I don't think you guys are complete on that yet, though, right? Neither of you have finished reading that?
No, I haven't
started
finished it.
Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, I'm about halfway
okay.
through.
Okay, yeah.
But,
So
y'all can talk about Avengers Twilight, because I read issue 6. I mean, not that I care if you spoiled the hell out of it, but it just so happens I read issue 6.
Yeah, I must say, I mean, first of all, I guess the byline is that I did genuinely enjoy the series, but I think I would be remiss to pretend that closing the 6th issue and it being wrapped up, I have the same verve and vigor for the book that we did if people go back and listen to us talk about the first issue. I think Acuña's art was phenomenal throughout, and it's great to see him back on a book of this kind of prominence. I hope that means he'll be doing stuff regularly. I'm here for that for sure. And I certainly didn't have the issues that you had, Vince, early on in the book, which kind of turned you around on it, because I don't mind at all having people like Kamala Khan be featured. But I think where it didn't hit hard as it wound down for me was that the Hulk was used as the, one of the big final bosses, if you will. And man, I don't know if this is just a me thing, but I just guess I just don't have any interest anymore in reading another story where the Hulk turns bad and they have to fight him to contain him, and he's this unstoppable force. Like, I think it's, it's just like, I feel like I've read that story 1,000 times, and I just thought, like, that's how you're going to go out on me? Like, you're going to throw the Hulk into it? Like, okay. I mean, cool. Like, I get it. He is obviously a force of nature, so it's not that it wouldn't be a daunting task, but considering this is a book about the Avengers having aged to elderly status, I mean, no matter what continuity, quote unquote continuity we're talking about, like, they would have dealt with the Hulk many times before. So
right.
I don't know. It didn't seem, again, I don't want to say it's anticlimactic. I genuinely enjoyed the series. Like, I didn't finish issue 6 and think, what a letdown. But I don't, like, if I was grading it, and we never give grades, but if I were, I guess I'd give it like a solid B. Whereas 2 issues into the book, I thought it was an A+, and on its way to, for me, being one of the best Avengers stories. And you guys know how much I adore the Avengers, and I've pretty much read all Avengers comics. So, like, that would have been a pretty high place for me in my mental rankings. And I think it's more a story that I'll remember as being pretty fun, but not one that I would go out of my way to recommend to someone if they said, hey, I want to read an Avengers story and I never have. What should I read? I don't think it hit that mark for me.
Yeah, I agree. I bottomed out far earlier than you did, not to imply that you bottomed out, but I broke ties with the book. I didn't have nearly as much emotional investment as I did with the first issue. Mm-hmm. I thought this could be a seminal Avengers story. This could be like an evergreen book. Yep. And I think the focus was shifted from the OG old and busted Avengers to the younger heroes, Kamala and whatever Hawkeye was called, and Stark's son. Like, I have zero interest in Stark's son. Started off as a dick, and if you can't redeem yourself adequately in 6 issues, right? I just think the journey was forced. And if it was the OG original Avengers saving the day in their current forms by any means, it would have been a great series. Again, I agree with you on the Hulk too. Without the Hulk, it could have been a great series. There's just too much moving parts in this thing to interest me. And while the art was impeccable, I thought Acuna looked phenomenal as usual. I just thought it was a whiff. I mean, I had anything could have happened, and I'd be like, okay, I guess it's done. Like, all right, I don't have to read this anymore. It just felt that there was a premise clearly stated. Steve is old. He's tired. He's seen better days. Here comes the super soldier serum again. Steve's back, even though he's very long in the tooth. And the Luke Cage still functional, even though his body has seen better days and he's not anywhere near peak potential. It's just, that would have been very interesting to me, to just have these heroes in their final days still making a difference, right? But then the waters were muddied by things that I don't think should have been in there. But whatever. That's just my take.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How about you, DAP?
Yeah, it's pretty much echoing what you guys have said. I didn't hate read it, but by the end of it, it was because it I think we all agreed it started off strong. But between James, between the reveal of who was actually behind it all and pulling strings, I don't know if Zdarsky was trying to, if the intent was to, kind of push the old guard to the back and put the spotlight on the new Avengers that might come out of this, but the whole surprise, it's Jan, that was, I don't know there were just certain things where I was just like, it's almost like he was. As I'm reading it, it felt like he still had ideas he needed to. Like this was supposed to be a 12-issue series, and he's like, "Oh shit, it's the sixth issue now. I got to do like everything."
Exactly. Yep.
So I'm just there was just things that it felt forced. It felt rushed. It looked great, which is why I did. I'm going to say suffer through. Well, I did finish it, but it was I wanted something different based on what we got at the start, and if that's on me or whatever, great. But I thought we were zigging along and they zagged, and it didn't end as strong as it started.
Yeah, it wasn't horribly written by any means.
No, but I mean, it's not. Yeah, there are still other. I mean, I'll aside from Avengers Forever, I'd give somebody the Busiek Perez Avengers run. I did. There's so many other books because while anybody who would give this to a comic reader or not knows who the Avengers are, knows the names of these characters. It's not like this isn't the Avengers story to rule them all. This is not going to be the oh shit, you just came out of you just bought the MCU box set. This is the Avengers story you got to read. Hell no. There's just I was hoping for something else. Is basically what it comes down to.
Yeah, you take it as it is, and this wasn't. So
yeah,
right.
But damn, does it look good?
It really does.
It did. It really did.
Yeah,
yep.
it looks just it's outstanding. Acuña's art is just breathtaking in spots.
Mm-hmm.
I, for one, again, like Jason and Dab, I hope he quickly finds himself on a new project, a different project, and we can just gush about his artwork there. But yeah, good try. But I say this all the time. I've resigned myself to the fact that the Marvel Universe has moved on. It's not mine anymore. I don't know the inner workings of it. All these new characters, I could not care less about. I just whatever. We have our time, and then it's done. So,
and that's okay.
We're
right?
good. It's fine.
That's the natural order of things. Yeah.
It's fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like when we were talking about the new Ultimates run. Like it's not grabbing me. I mean, I've tried the first one or two issues of every series, but that's okay. Like it doesn't need to. It's hopefully for however it's crafted is different enough that it appeals to an entirely new audience.
Right.
Like that's great because listen, we're getting old and
we need the next generation
absolutely
to keep the industry
right.
going. So absolutely.
Because I was just looking at some data, you know me with the data. And I had no idea that we're on a second wave of manga just crushing comics.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, almost all the growth. Like, yes, again, the sky is not falling. The comics industry is plenty healthy, and I think in many ways healthier than it's been in a long time because it's much more achievable for people to have. Commercially sustainable and make comfortable living doing their own stuff outside of Marvel and DC, and that's awesome. But I had no idea that manga was growing as fast as it's been growing again in the US. It is even a bigger wave this time than the first wave, which happened maybe a decade and a half ago.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah. So it's manga and YA are the two areas that are just showing tremendous growth, and that's good, right? Because
I think
that's
so.
great. It means we're going to continue to get these beautiful illustrated sequential stories until the day we all kick the bucket. So that's great.
It also means creative people are eating, and that's
right.
That's always
absolutely.
a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like our Kelly Williams had posted something on his Facebook. Shout out to Treebeard. He can't make it to Heroes, but he was supposed to, but he couldn't make it. But he kind of did something akin to like casting shade at the Skybound G.I. Joe Kickstarter, saying like that he thought it was whack that they would do that, given that it's a massively profitable IP owned by Hasbro, big public company, and obviously Skybound themselves are massively well funded and are run by Kirkman, and he took issue with it. And I get him as a indie creator trying to make his own mark still. Like I get the Like, I get the frustration of seeing something by a major corporation kickstarting for millions of dollars. Like, I get the frustration inherently in his talk, but I hit him back and said, from my vantage, and I understand if he doesn't share my view, I just don't see it as a zero-sum game in that regard. Like, I don't believe for a second that anybody that's backing something like the G.I. Joe compendium is doing that in lieu of backing something like his project, right? Like, I don't think it's an either or to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I see it. I think they're different audiences, and ultimately, like, the fact that there's like $3 million in that campaign now tells you it was a good idea, because there are tens of thousands of people that are beyond excited for this product, right? And like, I don't understand why any of that's a bad thing. Like make great comics,
right,
and let people enjoy them. And like, if there's a market for them, awesome, right? Like, so I don't know. Like, I just to me, it's I've never understood this idea that it has to be, you have to pick a side. We don't have to pick a side. And I think one of the great things about our show is we rib each other about stuff sometimes, but we don't pick a side. We all like what we like, and there's room for hot off the shelves superhero comics and Golden Age books and stapled pamphlets that we come across by an indie creator at a con, and there's room for all of it. Like, it can all be good. It can all be fun and worthwhile and enjoyable and worth praising and worth sharing, and I just think that's what makes it great.
I love Kelly too, but I'm guessing that the crossover audience between his work and the G.I. Joe stuff is slim to none, right? I mean, it's not even the same thing, right? So right. I don't understand why. Well, I mean, it's his right. If he doesn't think it's, whatever, then great. Rail at the windmills, but yeah, I don't understand it.
Sure.
It's kind of like this. There was a few creators that we know that were a little salty at Zoe Thorogood's success, and I'm like, for whatever reason they thought whatever, but her success has absolutely nothing to do with her physical appearance. I mean,
1,000%.
The proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
It's all in the work. The fact that she's to many people is very attractive, that's just gravy. But I mean, you're not looking at her face when you look at her work. You're looking at the work, and the work is very solid. So I mean, it's another one of those things where, who knows? I have a book that I want to talk about.
Bring it.
It's a punch in the face. It's a visual punch right in the face. And this book reminded me of the days when comics were bombastic and Kirby hands reaching through the page and big bada boom smashing. I don't know if you guys heard of this. It's called Attaboy, the Illustrated Instruction Booklet. It's written and illustrated by Tony McMillan, and it's published by Mad Cave Studios. It's a very slim OGN, maybe 80 pages, but man, it really packs a whole lot of energy in the pages. Get this, there is a dedication at the end that the influences are listed. This work would not have been possible had these people not been awesome, right? And, it's Jack Kirby's on the list, right? And Shigeru Miyamoto and Takashi Tezuka, okay. But he also lists Matthew Allison and Michel Fife.
Nice.
And then I'm going through this thing and I say, wow, this book reminds me of something. The design, the approach to mark making, the kinetic energy infused in every panel. The line work is very gritty and earthy, and it's almost like you can feel the brush being scraped across whatever surface he was applying the ink to. It's very much like Cobra in spirit, not so much in execution. I mean, the approach is very Cobra, but the way Michel Fife draws and the way Tony McMillan draws. In the same ballpark, but fairly distant. What's the book about? It's crazy. It's about a video game that the narrator remembers himself playing as a kid on a video game system that he remembers owning, but nobody remembers the game nor the video game system. And he's like, am I tripping? Did this game really exist? And he goes to detail the game, the mechanics of the game, the button pushes that you would do to do certain things, the villains. The villain in the game is called Motherboard. And Motherboard, of course, has minions. And, he goes through, there's old school 8-bit fonts in here where it's like level 1, attaboy, go. And it shows him just trying to jump across airborne platforms and dying like a bitch, right? and the game was hard. But you see like all the minions, Motherboard's Mechazoid Menagerie, and there's like Mama's Boy, Laser Wraith, Worm, and they're little icons of just the villains that appeared in the game. And underneath the surface of this book, it's a story about, from what I gathered, someone who grew up without a father and a very, I don't want to say villainous, but not the best mother in the world. So it works as a visual treat, just as bombastic, eye-searing, rip-your-face-off art. But there's a heart to it, too, because there's something crawling beneath the surface that elevates this just above just a standard video game pastiche book. I just thought it's an amazing book on every level. And it's neat because it's beautiful full color, and then all of a sudden it switches to black and white. And you get a bunch of pages in black and white. And then it'll shift back to color. It's just so neat. Even if you didn't give a hoot about the subtext or whatever may be going on below the surface of the visuals, you could just groove on the sights, man. I mean, it is just, it's big, it's powerful, it's infused with energy, and I think you should buy it. So it's called, did you Google while I was talking about this?
I have a copy of it.
Look at you! Did you page through it?
I did. I didn't read it. I looked through it visually. It is incredible, I have to say. And it's. I was trying to think of who to compare his work to.
It's a lot like Fife. It's a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say Fife's probably the closest. I mean, I see a little Mahfoud too, but of course,
sure.
But Fife's probably the closer comp. I assume you know this, but he will also be at Heroes.
Shut up.
Yeah, Indie Island. He'll be right near Fife. Actually,
I'm there.
Yeah,
there you go.
I'm there, but it's just savage mark making. I love it when my hands shake when I have a book in them, and I'm like, holy shit, this art is moving. There's motion here, and it's yes, of course, it's not moving. It's all just printed on a page, but it's electric. This book is just so powerful,
hand lettered as well. Which
of course, come on. Yeah, it vibrates. It's so alive. You got to get this. Yeah, Attaboy,
great.
Illustrated instruction booklet written.
Yeah, good on you, because we do. We are in the I guess enviable position of getting lots of book, both that we purchase and also that we are comped for reviews. And sometimes things are great, and you have them, and you don't even think about them because it's just you got a stack. And I saw the book on your list, and I thought, that sounds familiar, and I recognized his name because I knew that I recognized it from the Heroes list, and then I thought, let me take a gander here, and yeah, you're damn right. You right.
Yeah, it's amazing. I can't wait to meet him.
Hopefully you'll have copies.
Yeah, I think it's like
sure
$17.99 or something around there, but I mean, it's worth every penny. Yeah, it's wonderful, wonderful stuff.
Does look great.
And he thanked Jesse Lonergan in the acknowledgments.
And back of the book, you get some sketches, you get some character design stuff, you get a little bit of a text piece, like an author's note where he's just laying it all out, and plus the the inspiration list. It's just great.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, he's got Allison and Fife on there. He's got Kirby, obviously. Jeffrey Allen Love, who's another Felix guy. He'll be at the show as well.
Yeah.
And then as you noted, the video game guys. So it's like,
I mean, you put Matthew Allison on a list of inspiration. My
Seriously.
boy.
Well, that's the thing. I'm looking at all these names. I'm like, oh, respect to them all. Like respect to to Kitamura Mifune. Like Mega Man's like one of my all-time favorite games, right? Like just respect. Obviously, you got Kirby on there. I'm a huge Lonergan fan myself. So the dude is getting his inspiration from the right places. That's for sure.
Mia has played and beat every Mega Man game.
I know, because we remember what was it, a couple New York Comic Cons ago, we had to try and get her that, cop her that special release, right? Whatever that was.
Yeah, she loves Mega Man. Knows the lore inside and out, all of the, it's amazing. But, this just buy this book. It's
good for you.
Great.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Adding value.
Yep.
Even a broken clock's right twice a day.
You see now, I don't know why you had to go there. But
man, come on, I'm giving you the love. I'm just.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lord. Oh, man. Let's see. Well, yeah, this one was weird. It's from Dark Horse, and the reason to check it out is because the phenomenal art by Hayden Sherman.
Oh yeah.
Written by Zach Thompson. It's called Into the Unbeing. Part 1 for your first issue. It takes place in the not very distant future. Not even just over 10 years from now, 2034. So in Gibson's Desert, Australia is where the bulk of the issue takes place, with 4 women and a dog, Galco. But they are members of Sinew, SINEW, and I thought I had what the acronym was for written down. I do not. It's the Scientific Institute for Nascent Ecology and Worlds. So these climate scientists are stationed in Australia. They discover a landform and set out to survey and explore what's been found, and basically similar to our recent new favorite. You're basically reading one scientist's the findings by reading this story. Botanist Hildur Johansson is the scientist who is telling this particular story. It's a gorgeous looking book. I really do like Hayden's art. I doubt anyone likes Hayden's art as much as Vince does, but
Truth.
this
ain't nobody likes Hayden as much as I do.
But this is, I mean, I'm obviously being deliberately vague. The issue comes out actually when, if you haven't been to the shop yet, when you hear this, pick it up because it comes out today, Wednesday the 12th. I don't know. This beautiful double page spread, and you see something in the distance, and I'm like, I think that's what I think it is, but I'm not 100% sure. But as you keep reading, a couple pages later, you're like, oh shit, it is. What I am loving about this, a whole one PDF issue in, is that I don't know what to expect. I have no idea what I don't know what the hell's coming on the next page, let alone the next issue. So, I'm I could be worried. I could be concerned. You've got climate. You've got science. You've got a very near future that could be entirely possible. I'm really all in on this. I don't know if this is a 4-issue miniseries. I don't know how long it's going, but I will be here for as long as it is.
Same. But the fact that the first issue is called Part 1, number 1, I'm guessing that this is going to be like a Hellboy format series where you're going to get, 4 issues or 5 issues, and then it's going to go to Part 2, and it's going to be 5 issues or something like that. I'm just assuming, but I mean, it's a climate change book. The world's burning, and they experimented with like aerosol cloud seeding or stratosphere seeding, and it bought them some time. But shit's on fire. Yeah, and it's a slight. The first issue is kind of slight. It's basically, oh, here we are. What's this giant landform that just appeared? Let's go check it out. That's basically the first issue, but the Hildur doesn't trust any of her teammates.
Yeah, that's and that is one thing that I because they are and she even says later on in the issue that she's in no rush to pull rank, but shit needs to get done. But you've got Abby the surveyor, you've got Selba the entomologist, and Zara is the geologist. So they are all completely different personalities. Nobody is really no one's really they all realize that there's a mission, that there's a reason they're here, but they're not all besties, and really they I get the impression that they look out for each other because they're really all they have, but heads are going to butt.
I think Hildur's a bit of an asshole.
Yes, but Hildur also we find out pretty early on that she's a widow. She also lost her daughter. Basically, it's just her and her daughter. Her house burned, and it's there's so this is really kind of all she's got.
Yeah, sad backstory, but okay, if you get caught out in the midday sun, you're gonna die. You're gonna burn. And she's like, "Oh, look at this landform. We got to go check it out." And they're like, "Whoa, wait a minute. Let's survey this thing. Let's take our time and get some readings on this. I don't think we should go out there." No, we're going out there. It's like, if you're a leader,
even though
you don't.
It wasn't paying them back. It's like, hello.
You don't drag your people into a dangerous situation just because. Like, I don't know. I don't think she's a very respectable and admirable protagonist. I don't. I think she's got something working on her. And, we'll see. But like David said, Hayden Sherman, that's drop the mic. You're done. You got to read it. It's a Hayden Sherman book. Yeah, the art in this thing is just amazing. The textures.
I can't wait until Hayden Sherman's at a con that we're at to see Vince get all tongue-tied.
Oh, instant chubby. Just
for real. Yeah. Nobody.
Remember that time you drew that?
Remember that wasted space that you drew? Isn't that awesome? It was so good.
And those above space.
And that thing about the snakes, yeah. You drew a whole page of little tiny circles of rocks in that one issue of the Unbeing thing. It's crazy. Yeah, it's just really neat. It's amazing. Just great flora, fauna. It's just alien. I got a very alien vibe.
Yes.
It's like they could have been walking into the navigator, right? Mm-hmm. Going into the chamber. It's got that feel too. Like the humans definitely do not belong where they are, and they're invading a very dangerous, potentially lethal area, and they're just like walking right into the lion's mouth. It's just cool. It's neat. What's going to happen? Who the frig knows? Like that. I have no idea where this is going. But it's great. I wish Dark Horse would would have a little bit more judicial placement of their watermark, because
It's
a lot of,
I thought I'm like
I can't read that.
If you
Like-
know Dark Horse is going to set this out as a PDF for review, like you didn't think and granted, listen, I mean, by the time this is published in someone's hands or even collected, like, nobody cares where the placement of some caption boxes
Sure,
are. But
right.
in order for us to read it, I kind of do.
Yeah.
And
there's a journal page.
because it's on multiple pages. Yes, there
yeah,
is.
to give me a journal
Which is-
page, value added, I'm down with it. It's like
And
Mr. Black's Make Ready book in Providence. Love it. I love it.
Just
Go
over
get
a
it.
month and 10 years away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get
absolutely.
this thing.
It's funny you mentioned Alien. I know unrelated to why you mentioned it, but
Oh, did you? I've been meaning to ask Vince for the longest time if he's seen the Romulus trailer.
that's what I was just going to say. I saw the Romulus
Okay.
trailer because
Freaks me out, man.
Holden and
Yeah.
I went to see Bad Boys 4, and which was awesome, by the way. Way better than it had any business being.
Good.
If anyone listening were fans of the first two Bad Boys back in the day, which I was an immense fan of, and were disappointed in the cash grab of the Bad Boys 3, they cured the ills with 4. 4 felt like 2. But anyway, but I saw one of the previews that we saw was for Alien Romulus, and listen, a preview is just a preview, so like doesn't mean the movie's going to be one thing or another. But I love the preview. I thought it looked great, so I'm pretty excited.
Same.
It's okay.
Oh my god, you just hate fun.
I don't hate fun. I don't.
No, do you like Prometheus, right?
I love Prometheus, but this has
That's what I
nothing to
thought.
do with Prometheus.
No, I know. It's just like,
That's the whole conceit. It's like,
Right,
no,
but-
we're not doing that. It was like, well, okay, whatever.
but the one after, what was the last one before this one?
Yeah, at least that was linked to Prometheus too.
Right, exactly, right. Which is why,
And it didn't
which is why
do
I was
well.
Kind of hoping that this.
Which
Say again?
it didn't do well, which is probably
No, it
why this is not connected to anything.
Covenant, it was called.
Covenant, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Not a great movie, but a good movie.
It was still,
I
I still enjoyed.
but
it.
fucking Prometheus
Still enjoyed
is-
that one more than I enjoyed Resurrection.
Prometheus is who didn't? Prometheus is brilliant. Resurrection's a piece of shit. Like why?
It is.
It's
To try to give you the alien with it's a sad face, trying to get sucked out of the hole. I'm like,
yeah.
come on.
Aw, fuck you. Fuck you. Yeah. But yeah, so there you go. Oh, this is fun. What else do we have? Let me check the clock. Well, we don't have to check the clock tonight, do we?
No. Dude, can you believe it was 45 years ago that Alien came out? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and
Where does the time go?
well, I saw it in the theaters, which makes me damn old.
You are damn old. I was
Yeah.
4 years old when that came out, so I did not see it in the theater, but
One of the best experiences ever in a theater, because you didn't have the internet to spoil shit.
Right,
We
right.
had. Let me see. Do we have Fangoria? We definitely had Starlog at that point. Mm-hmm. But the chestburster scene was not spoiled. So
Right.
when it happened, me and my friends were just like, "What the fuck did we just see?" Like,
yep.
it was a shock. It definitely, because again, there was no social media, there was no advance warning, there was no media machine that we have now. We went in blind. Like, all we saw was the poster with the egg. We didn't know what was going on. Like, holy shit, this is the best thing we've ever seen. And then the playing cagey with the actual alien, like not seeing it until the very end. It was crazy. That's not how Hollywood works.
Yep.
Right? It was just a brilliant movie.
Well,
And then the
again-
more we investigated it, we learned H.R. Giger, we learned Mobius with the design. Like, so the movie got even better. Like, it took on a legendary status after Simonson did the graphic novel for Heavy Metal. Like, shut up. It's like, yeah, wonderful.
I was just going to say that I did see Aliens in the theater
Nice.
at the ripe old age of 12, and I just remember it was one of the first sequels that I felt was like grander than the original. You know what I mean? It was like, oh man, like it just felt, because the idea, the conceit of Alien, you know, like suddenly you're going to give me lots of these creatures. It just seemed insurmountable.
Yep.
And I remember thinking, this is just crazy. I really, I love that franchise for sure. I'm always going to give it a try, even when it stinks.
Yeah, so do I. I even read the novels as they were coming out, and the one by Steve Perry not the Journey Steve Perry, but would have made a phenomenal Aliens 3. The xenomorph makes it to Earth. And it was just a great story. And then I was like, oh man, if Alien 3 is that Steve Perry story, it's going to be great. And then we get fucking music video bullshit. Alien 3. It's so stupid. Yeah. Garbage.
I mean, there is still the rumor that we are going to get the actual Aliens sequel that they meant to give us, and not the one we ended up getting, the Alien Cube thing with the death of the nuke right at the start.
It wasn't just a death. It was far more than a death.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, let's just crack these ribs. Yeah, it's okay. All right.
Waste.
It is waste. We have more comics to talk about.
What else we got?
We got lots of stuff. I hope so. I have more to talk about.
Go for it.
Okay. The Desert Island Mystery Mail box came.
Of course it did.
Yes. Love it. It's one of my favorite things. I took a break from it. Like I said, I'm stupid. I do stupid things at times, and one of them is taking a break from the Desert Island Mystery Mail, because you miss out on so many good things. And Jason likes to use this term, and I always found it cringeworthy a little bit. But in the case of Desert Island, it certainly applies. They're tastemakers. They really are. Where you can rest assured that if you find something within the Desert Island Mystery Mail box, that it's going to be great. It's going to be of a certain quality that is a standard to which whatever kind of genre or art form it represents is. That was a shitty sentence. But anyway, there's an anthology that was included in my newest box. It's called Cowlick Comics number 7, and it's published by Dead Crow World Media. The production values on this anthology are ridiculous. Heavy glossy paper, full color interiors when the work demands it. There's a lot of work in here that's black and white. That's just because the artist created it that way. Some of it's done in ballpoint, so the art represents the way it was done. Like it's printed in color, but it's ballpoint. But unfortunately, it's not, I can't go story by story or even highlight some of the best pieces. I hesitate to call them stories, because if you're looking for a traditional short story, beginning, middle, end, if you're looking for some closure, or even if you're looking for meaning in some of these stories, I think you're going to be at a loss, because it's again, very personal pieces. What some of these pieces actually mean, I mean, the jury's still out on that. Some of them aren't even sequential art. They're just beautiful drawings. And as I was going through this, I'm thinking, this is like if an issue of Art Forum had sequential art in it. That's what it would be, because it's a very eclectic group of creators. There's some realists who are very strong in design, and they'll include snippets of type pasted over their work. Like it's a very all-encompassing anthology, in the sense that like every style is represented in here. There's an art brut outsider edge to it. There's a very refined illustrative edge. There's a Adventure Time, Steven Universe type, very designy world building edge. Again, I'm not being vague for the sake of being vague. I'm being vague, or I'm not nailing down exactly what this book is, because after going through it twice, I couldn't tell you. The premise is, It's the peace, love, friendship, forgiveness, and unity issue. And there's a thread that's going through it. A lot of the pieces will have Free Palestine on somewhere within the stories, the base of a page or a corner or something. There's a focus on Steve Ditko for one strip. It's called Ditko Expressionism, where the author has a field day with just various panels, redrawn panels that of Ditko's work, but combined in exciting ways that tell a story, but on a very basic level. Like again, I'm sure a lot of these stories mean a lot to the people that created them. Like they probably have all of the answers, but the answers are not in a lot of the pieces. I wish I could be more specific. The one nit I have with this, it was edited by Floyd Tangeman. There are no page numbers in this anthology. So if the artist did not include their name somewhere within their work, Floyd has, on the inside front cover, Floyd lists all of the contributors in the order in which they appear, which is basically useless unless an artist has signed their work. And then you can find that artist within the list. Like, say you like the story that was 2 pages before Matt Thurber's work, which he didn't sign, but I'm just saying. Say you know Matt Thurber's work. You're like, oh, Matt Thurber, here he is in the list. I like this story that's 3 stories behind him. So you have to go on the list and find that artist's name. Like, give me a contents page. Like, tell me who did the work, because all of these artists are worth following and investigating further. But I can't, because I don't know who did what if they didn't sign it. I could, make the effort to go through this list and go back and forth within the list based on the very smart artists that actually signed their work. But Floyd didn't include, there's no credits in. I mean, the fact that he listed the names is great, but that doesn't do me any good. Like, give me a credit page. Tell me where and who, and I'll go look for their work elsewhere. Like, the work is that good. I just think that's a little bit of ball dropping with this. That's the only bit of ball dropping with this anthology. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. It's immersive. It's visceral. It's everything that I want an anthology to be. And it works on a level that words, a realm without words and sentences. Like, I can't describe a lot of this stuff. Some of the pieces are very, very abstract. The meaning, I mean, you can get whatever you want to get out of a lot of them, but it's just beautiful. It's wonderful. It's a great anthology. Cowlick Comics number 7. Prestige format, square bound, magazine side, glossy, great. Just get it. It's so good.
Yeah, I'd never heard of this, but as you started talking about it, I looked it up. It looks ridiculously great.
It is.
It doesn't look easy to find, but I'm thinking, because you guys know I don't buy many of the issues these days, but this would be the kind of thing that our boy Chris Pitzer has at his table.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And it's a book. It's
$30, right? Because I'm looking at, I see like the originals were like $10 a piece, and this one's $30. So, but it's also over 100 pages now, so I assume the other ones were. Yeah,
I think it's like 120 some odd pages.
Yeah.
But it's a hefty thing. It has weight to it, it has presence. It's a great anthology. If I could turn off the language and the forming ideas based on letters all jammed together, just turn all that off and just work on a level where it's just pure image and follow the story I love that. A lot of people, that's not their thing. Where, I want to read this story. I want to know what it's about, and then we'll move on. But that's not what this is. There's a lot of deciphering, a lot of stuff that just doesn't exist on a level that language occupies. So yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's great.
So, quick straw poll for you guys.
Nice.
What is your view on Deus Ex Machina, aka MacGuffin, aka the reset button? What are your thoughts on it as a construct? Fan, hate it, depends on the situation.
I'm not. There's no absolute with me. If it makes sense for the story, if it doesn't feel like it's a cop out, I don't have a problem with it generally. There are times where I do, like Avengers Twilight, but not. There's something else I read recently which.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I figured, and I wasn't. I wasn't really. I don't expect that, and I just and that's maybe why it felt a bit of a letdown.
So because I mentioned that I had finished up three things, and we got sidetracked on we went down some other tangents, but Pine and Merrimack being the other one. And the fifth final issue ended, and we won't get in because I'm sure some people haven't read it yet, but it is resolved with a very no two ways about it. It's a straight up Deus Ex Machina. So it's interesting. I guess we're maybe on different sides of this one because I know that a few of our Slack patrons brought up that they were surprised and even disappointed. I think I won't put words in people's mouths, but it seemed like some people were disappointed with the way the book ended because of this reset button. And it sounds like maybe you kind of were a little let down by it too. In respect to that, I guess for me, I'm also in the depends camp, and I thought this was fine because number one, this is a brand new series of characters to me. Mm-hmm. It's a brand new world that Kyle Starks and Fran Galan have given us. It's a universe that I don't profess to know anything about how things work there. So I guess I don't hold it against it in the way I would like a big 2-book where I feel like fair or not that it's just about editorial control, getting it back to the chess set being put back together for the next person to play with the toys. This I'm like, okay. So again, it's difficult to really have this full discussion fully without getting into the plot contrivances, but I wasn't put off by it. Because ultimately to me this is a love story between these two characters, and if we didn't get the reset button, I would have, I think, been really let down that the book ends with basically their romance being over, and I would have thought like, well, wow, okay, Kyle Stark's getting dark on us this time, so I don't mind, and especially because they allude that that this is just chapter 1, that there's more to come because of it. Yeah. So,
I had realized when I finished the 5th preview that we got from Boom, I thought something was a little off, and I realized that, oh crap, I didn't read the 4th issue, so I went back and read the 4th, reread the 5th, and I get it within the context of the story, and this what saves it for me, and me not just going, well, this was a cop out, was that now one of them knows that there are things that can be changed if this is going. So I do appreciate. I'm if we get it, if they continue this particular story, or at least if they give us another story with the characters, and only one of them remembers, I'm optimistic. I mean, we've read enough Kyle Stark stories to know that he doesn't cheap out. He doesn't leave you hanging just to leave you hanging. So I'm not. He gets way more leeway with me pulling this, in air quotes, stunt than other writers might. it still looks absolutely fabulous. So there are way more pros than any con that device might give it. But I will go back and edit my post because I believe it was Bill who started that thread. But yeah, I think
it was. Wasn't it? Was it Bill? Okay, maybe it was. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I initially, again, because of the writer's pedigree, I'm just like that. But then again, but that's a me thing. So I mean, I'm cool with it. So I want to reread the whole thing from start to finish because I think it also benefits from not having weeks and weeks between issues to continue the story. So I do want to. I want to read the 5 all one after another. Probably sometime after Heroes, but as I've thought about it, following my initial reaction, and again, finally reading all the chapters, it doesn't leave me with the sour taste I had first time experiencing it, but everything you've said as far as seeing where this particular world and these characters go can definitely play a part in furthering my enjoyment of it.
I mean, I think we can all agree, regardless of whether we think the landing was stuck narratively. Can we raise our glasses to Fran Galan?
Absolutely.
Oh my God, I want to live in a world drawn by Fran Galan. I mean, honestly, like the beauty of the people is just almost impossible to put into words. I love every bit of the way Fran draws human beings. I just, it's so wonderfully expressive. It really reminds me a ton of Panosian and Jordi Lefebvre. I mean, those are the two people that, and I think they're both amazing as well. So yeah, man, I'm here for it for sure.
Agreed.
Nice. It's good.
Is it?
Yeah, I didn't read the last issue, but I co-signed the visuals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have some sneaking suspicion Fran Galan's like stupidly young too. Like such that you'd be like sick that they can draw this well already.
We should ask Kyle. Especially if
for sure.
Met, but yeah, we should.
I'm looking at a picture. Nah, he's a grizzled vet.
Oh, okay.
We're good.
Would it kill you if he was digital?
No.
Okay, because then you'd never own anything.
Oh, no, listen. I'm more open minded to the. I mean, like, if you're just give me good stories, whatever mechanism you're using. I mean, sure, it would be nice if it was traditional, such that the art would be available. But no, man. I mean,
all right. Because usually you're just like, oh, my soul's crushed. This person's digital. I can't get nothing from them. But yeah, good. You're growing up.
But just so you know, Fran is not digital. He is repped by Green Room Comic Art. So
excellent. Yeah. Nice.
I don't believe they've put any pages from the series up though that I've seen. Oh, Vince, but there's a killer Savage Dragon pinup for sale.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And who doesn't love Savage Dragon? Nobody.
All
right, everybody. Hey, thank you for being here with us one more time around. We hope to see you at Heroes. That would be awesome. If you hear us, come on over. Big hugs. Maybe we'll go look for some back issues. It'll be great. Check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/11o'clockcomics for all the stuff I mentioned before. And don't forget, if you're not going to Heroes and you want to save money on books, cheapgraphicnovels.com. Everything you want at the price you want to pay. It's crazy. In your travels, I don't really have anything. I'll just do this. Come here. The other book that was in my Desert Island Mystery Mail, I have most of this series, and it's crazy. I think there's maybe 8, 9, 10 books, maybe more in this series. And I have most of them, but they included this in my box, and guess what? I didn't have this one. How is that possible?
How, indeed.
How?
I don't know.
It's Winsor McCay, Early Works Volume 2. Now, I'm going to say the publisher's name, and some people are going to wince, and some people are going to go, It's from Checker Publishing. Checker's kind of notorious in some circles for the quality of their reproduction. But we're talking work that was produced in the early 1900s. So I'm guessing that the originals for a lot of this stuff are, number one, scarce. Number two, not in the best shape to begin with. I'm not defending Checker, but the paper quality's great, thick, but the subject matter, Winsor McCay, I'm not going to get into, you have the story of Hungry Henrietta in here. You have some Rarebit Fiend stuff. There's no Little Nemo in here because it's earlier than that. This is like 1906.
Damn.
So, yeah. But you get Dream of the Rarebit Fiend.
Before you were born, dude.
You get some editorial cartoons. It was before I was born. Yeah, it was a long time before I was born. But visionary, incredible talent, not just for the way he drew, but the things he drew. Like, McCay is plugged into something mystical with his work. Like, okay, we all know Little Nemo and Slumberland. Dreams are a big deal to Winsor McCay. They are the fuel that powers his engine, so to speak. And yes, the Rarebit Fiend stuff always ends the same. It's like, oh, shouldn't eat that Rarebit, but the visuals are just absolutely impeccable. And I think for like 1900, at least in comics, there's a strip in here where he includes himself in the strip. He used to sign his strips Silas, right? And there's a number of people that enter his drawing area, and they keep complimenting him or giving him letters from fans. And his head keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger until it almost fills the entire panel. And then it explodes, and you see the gears and inner workings, industrial type workings of his brain. And then it turns out he was asleep at the drawing board because of the Rarebit that he had. But for 1906, that's crazy to be thinking on that kind of level where experimenting with surrealism and symbolism and it's just like he's like, there's a reason why Winsor McCay is regarded as one of the all-time greats, because he was like he was on a totally different level than everyone around him at the time and even now. So I mean, if you're not familiar with the work of Winsor McCay, just go investigate these Checker books, which is why I'm thinking they included it in the box. They can be had very cheaply. And we got $30 for the Cowlick comic, so they just threw this kind of in to sweeten the pot. You only pay $38 a month, shipping included, for the mystery mail. So I feel like I got a great value this month. Check it out. But yeah, Winsor McCay, I love his stuff, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, yes, a lot of it has to be taken from the standpoint of the time in which it was created, where certain types of people were rendered in ways that we would be appalled by today. But this is like the early 1900s. They didn't know any better. People learned. They evolved. So, yeah, Winsor McCay. It's great.
Sounds it.
Yep.
Nice. In your travels, I am going to. I started it. I'm only I'm about a third of the way through it. But echoing what Jason said recently about the Hobtown mystery stories, the case
My
of
man.
Men.
Yes, sir.
Art is fantastic. The Chris Bertine and Alexander Forbes do some great work. I love the little diner map at the start of the book, but no, this is I have to trim at the fit to finish this because I gotta see where we go and who did what. But it starts off a little freaky, but yeah, I'm definitely itching to see the conclusion of this particular tale. But yeah, in your travels, if you haven't, I don't know why you weren't listening to Jason, Uptown Mystery Stories, Case of the Missing Men.
Oh, you're warming my heart. The only person that doesn't listen to me as a rule is Vince, because he just be like that. But
obviously, you don't listen to me because I told you I
true.
started it.
Yes, you did.
No,
Yes, you did.
oh my God, relax.
Dude, it's a thick
guy.
book. It's a thick book. I was trying to get stuff read for.
No, I got you. So in your travels, please. In your travels, I got to tell you, we don't know this gentleman personally yet, but I think he's going to be my boo once we do meet because I'm talking about Dan Waters. And in your travels, I need the people listening to this podcast to file this away because you can't read it yet. But next week on New Comic Book Day, on the shelves will be Destro #1. Written by Dan Waters, drawn by Andre Bresson, a.k.a. Mr. Darkride. How about that? And listen, we've talked about, at least I think in part, every one of the G.I. Joe Skybound series so far. And I think it's fair to say we've liked to loved most of them. I mean, right? Like we've been fans of them. But for me, and it's only one issue, but I adored this first issue. Since it isn't released yet, I can't even be vague, give you any kind of plot or contrivance, but it is worth your time. Love the art, love the story. But I did want to read something that I think is okay to read, and I think it speaks to why Dan Waters is my boo. He just doesn't know it yet. He, in the back of the book, introduces his reason for taking on the project, and I thought he described Destro in a better way than I've ever seen or heard him describe before. So I will, if you will indulge me. And Dan's British, so he starts off, which I won't read a whole thing about how he grew up with Action Man and wasn't really into G.I. Joe, so this was kind of an interesting project for him to take up. But he then starts talking about Destro, and he says, Destro fits a pretty classic Gothic archetype. He's a capital R romantic, blazing his own trail, following his own code of ethics regardless of how the world around him perceives him. He's a small R romantic, desiring human connection, yet isolated by his paranoia and the weight he feels from the legacy of his ancestors. In our story, his closest confidants are their cold graves. The idea of a character like this, globally powerful, fiercely independent, even idealistic in his own horrible way, having to accept a place as second in command to another, is a fascinating one. And traditionally, that's exactly where he finds himself in relation to Cobra Commander. And then he goes on to talk about the Anderson universe, and he says, and he does it all dressed like a pro wrestling vampire. Oh, how I love this guy. And I stood up and clapped after reading that. I'm like, Waters gets it. He gets why Destro is that dude. And I think every bit of the excitement in his description of him comes through in this first issue.
Nice.
So in your travels, next week when you go to the store, or if you order online, make sure you grab Destro #1 by Skybound.
Nice. Beautiful. Beautiful.
That's a good issue.
Okay, if you get a chance, get yourself to Heroes. Do it. Can't say it enough because you're going to be hearing about it next episode. I did all this stuff. Buy some comics, read some comics, talk about them, love them, share them. Come back here. We'll be talking about comics and heroes next time. In the meantime, say goodnight. I know, it broke my heart. She died.
Old age.
Oh, that's good.
She was older than everybody thought.
This cat is so adorable.
Yep.
Look away. David.
Good night, Callum.
I can watch this 100 times. I pissed
Yep.
off Nina because we were at the wedding and she's getting dressed and she's getting her makeup done and she's in the chair and blah, blah, blah. And in the background, I played it and she goes, "I will end your life."
Ah,
I did it the whole time.
David.
Nice.
Oh man, it was a rough week because not only Calla but also Willy Wonky. William was a cat who had a neurological degenerative disease. Couldn't use his legs to get him up and around. So yeah, his body finally failed, and Mom and Dad finally did what was best. But and actually, and what's cute is that Willie was actually married to Phoebe, the CH cat, and the wobbly kind of cat, and she Phoebe's mom set up designed a T-shirt with proceeds going to the rescue shelters, and actually Willie's body is being donated to science so they can find out maybe what causes these issues, and trees being planted. I mean, they're doing a whole thing. It's really lovely to see, but it's sucks so much that they're here for a short part of our lives, and we're usually there for all of theirs.
Nice. Bring them down for the end of the episode.
That's it. Go to Heroes,
Yeah.
people. Have a
Go to
great
Heroes.
time.
Take your dicks out. Go to Heroes. I don't know what to say.
Run around Charlotte.
Yep.
Eat all
If you
the
have it there.
Oh, right. So not all people have them. You can take the other things out too, but we won't see it unless you're nimble. I don't know.
What are you talking?
I don't know. We love you so much. We love you. Tell them you love them so much.
We
So,
do. I'm
Love you even
beyond
more
ex-
if we see you at Heroes.
Yeah, going to see many of you in mere moments.
All the hugs.
Most of the hugs.
Yeah. That's Thanks for bringing that in. You're right.
If you're not sure if you should hug me, don't hug me.
If you see Jason, here's
Run up.
here's the Heroes 24 game.
Don't put on deodorant first. Yeah.
No, if you see Jason, kick him in the balls.
Oh, that's messed up.
And you see me and Dap, give us a high five after you do
truth
it.
is, I'm a hugger. I love to hug.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm a much bigger hugger than you are, dude. I love to hug.
I think you're wrong. I really think you're wrong.
That's insanity.
And if you see Vander for the 15 minutes he's actually going to be there, give him a punch in the nuts.
That's true. Although he's probably got like a steel codpiece on under his
Oh my God.
Shoot now. At
We're-
this point, yeah.
Yeah, we're done. Tell them so much. Tell them.
Yep, a lot.
Yeah.
Tons.
That's it for that one.